Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I will be reviewing my Chanel Classic Jumbo Flat Bag. My baby, my Chi-Chi, the only bag in my collection I've ever named, surprisingly. And just wanted to take you all through my experience in buying this bag, what I was looking for when I purchased this bag, and talk a little bit about the pricing of this bag, what it was when I purchased it, what it is now, and then also if I would recommend making this purchase and looking at this bag more. Spoiler alert, I absolutely would, but in a second. So if you like this content, if this is something that you think you might enjoy more of, please go ahead and click on that subscribe button, and I'll just jump into it. So I had purchased this bag, this holy grail of handbags, back in 2015. I actually, my husband and I, who was my boyfriend at the time, we had done a trip to Europe, and one of our stops on that trip was Paris. And leading up to that trip, I knew that if I was in Paris, I would need to stop into the Chanel store. I had never been into a Chanel boutique. I was like, I knew I'd need to go into the Chanel store and buy the Jumbo Classic Flat Bag. It was a bag that I had wanted for years. I figured that I'd wanted this size. That was definitely something that I was sure of once I went in the store and I actually saw it in person, thinking about how I was going to use this bag and what my needs for this bag would be. So on our trip, we went to the store, and I have to tell you, it was such a lovely experience. It was probably one of my best luxury boutique experiences ever. Not probably, it definitely was. It tops my number one. And one of the reasons for that really is they were so kind in the store. The sales associates were so helpful. I didn't have an appointment. I walked in and I got matched up with someone, and she took me downstairs to where they had this bag. You know, they put on gloves, they serve you champagne. My husband was like, yeah, this is great. I was like, no champagne for me. I need a clear head. I'm evaluating Chanel bags. I need to focus. So so we're down there, they're putting on their gloves, they're taking out all the bags. And when you go into a Chanel boutique and you're looking to purchase a bag like this, just be mindful that they might not have all of the color selections that you might want. So for me, they had the black caviar leather with the silver hardware, or they had the beige caviar leather with the silver hardware. And to be honest, I was really torn between the both of them when I was in the store. So I keep trying them on. I'm going back and forth on which one I might want. I was probably down there for quite a bit. Time just doesn't feel like time when you're in Chanel, right? So I'm going back and forth. And finally, I decide, or I don't decide, but the saleswoman says to me, you know, as much as you had your eye on that black bag, I think the beige one is just your bag. It's speaking to you more because every time you put it on, you kind of light up. I think I lit up trying on both bags personally, but you know, so when I had the beige one on, I will say this, we were traveling, it was the beginning of June. So I'm wearing all summer clothes. It's the sun's out. The lighter color was just, you know, at the moment that I was shopping, felt, you know, maybe I was feeling more drawn to it in that way. But I will say this, one thing that bothered me, so I end up buying the beige bag and going back to the hotel. And the sales associate said to me, she goes, listen, this is the only black caviar leather bag in this size with the silver hardware that we have. If you end up changing your mind, I am working tomorrow. Here's my card. Reach out to me. Let me know right away so we can exchange it, because I guarantee that it's not going to stay on the shelves. So I took that back to the hotel with me. So we go back to the hotel and I open up my new beige bag and I'm holding it up and I go, I'm having buyer's remorse. I wish I got the black bag. So fortunately, so my husband's like, oh, so we're going to Chanel again. Let me take a couple Advil and drink some water before we go. No. So we wake up, and first thing in the morning, I was right when they opened, I was like, we need to be at the Chanel store. So we were there when the doors opened. I brought in my bag. The sales associate looks at me and I go, I needed the black one. So she was fantastic. She's like, I get it. She wraps up the black one for me, takes back the beige, and I am so happy that I had the night to sleep on it, and that I was able to get the bag that at the end of the day I really, really wanted. So one of the things, as I was going to say before, that bothered me about the beige bag, and I wouldn't say bothered me, I personally really love the beige with the gold hardware. The black, I love it with the black and silver, but something about the caviar leather, I think it makes it look a little bit more matte than the lambskin leather. I really love the caviar leather with the silver, and I love the lambskin leather with the gold. Don't get me wrong, this bag looks fabulous with the gold, and the lambskin looks great with the silver. It's just my personal preference on the bag, and I knew that especially for my first, and as it stands, my only Chanel bag, I really wanted something that would be durable and that would be in my collection forever, which this one is. So let me just talk to you a little bit about wear and tear on this bag, because I've had this bag now, this was 2015. It's been 7.5 years. This bag is going on 8 years old, and it looks brand new, and I use it all the time. I am not one to buy handbags and let them sit on my shelf. Yes, I have a handbag collection, so I'm not using this bag every single day, but I do get good use out of this bag. Another thing is, I wish I could tell you, I did when I brought it back to the States with me, I packed the bag, I packed the dust. I mean, I had everything. I had the wrapping, I had everything that it came with was coming back with me. It was pretty hilarious trying to get our bags packed to go back, because I was like, move everything out of the way for this huge box with this bag in it. So, I totally lost my train of thought there, but yeah, I love, when I leave this in my closet, I don't put it in my dust bag. I know I probably should, especially this bag. You're probably watching this going, why? It's so expensive. It's such an investment. Keep it. But I don't. I leave it displayed on my shelf when I'm not using it. And I mean, there's nothing. There's nothing on the hardware to note. There's nothing on the leather to note. I mean, look at the corners on here. And again, it doesn't have feet on it. So you would think putting it down, I mean, I never put it on the floor, but I put it on tables all the time, especially, when we're going out to eat and things like that. And it shows nowhere. I'm trying to find an excuse to say if you got this bag, be mindful of this area or the corners or the clasp or, the hardware on the strap, but there's nothing to comment about. I will say this, one of the other things that I took back to the hotel with me that night when I was trying to make that decision, which was pretty obvious the second I took the other one out of the bag, was in the store, the sales associate explained to me that the burgundy interior only came with the black leather. So apparently that is a classic Coco Chanel match right there with that burgundy interior. So I love that, it's so classic. I was spending all this money and I really wanted something with a story. I obviously got the story being in Paris and buying this bag, but also just knowing how classic it was. This is also the classic jumbo bag. So you could see the 2 interlocking CCs on the clasp here. This was the version that was re-released by Karl Lagerfeld in the early 1980s. I think it was 1983 that this bag was modernized and re-released. So you can also find vintage versions of this bag. Those as well, I believe there's not always the double flap. So the one I am reviewing today is the double flap bag. Things you might see about that, you might hear that it's heavy. It's not a light bag. I really don't think this flap will save you all that much weight on it, but I could be mistaken. I actually haven't held one, so who knows. The one thing I will say, the only thing about this bag that I don't see this as a negative at all, it's just something that I don't get a lot of use out of, is the snap closure on the inside flap. If I'm using this bag, I'm just closing it this way and opening it up and leaving that inside flap open. It's got the nice little compartment here that Coco Chanel said would be, you could use to store love letters. I love that. It's so romantic. A little lipstick compartment right here in the center. You've got the 2 flaps on the inside here. And then you also have this big area. So I normally use it with the big area. I do use the lipstick just because I just think it's cute. And maybe I'll use one of these to throw some of my things in. You also have this compartment. I don't use it to put items in, but it is there if you need it. And then of course on the back also, you have this area, which I have used this. I have thrown receipts in there from time to time. So get a little bit of use out of that one. But for the most part, if you're someone who likes to organize your bags, whether you get a bag organizer, that would work in here, or if you had pouches that you use, you could keep it organized in that way since it is kind of just like a bigger open area. But I love it. For me, I think it works perfect. Like I said, I don't think the weight is too heavy. It is heavier than some of my other bags though. So be mindful if that's something that bothers you or you're planning on carrying a lot. I probably wouldn't carry this bag on that day. Or, you know, if you're looking at like, I would only invest in that bag if I'm using it every day, you might want to think about having the opportunity to see one of the single flaps in person, see if that one might make more sense for you. But I personally, I just love this bag. Now let's just take a few minutes to talk about pricing because this bag has gone up in price a lot since I bought it, but even before that, the price was already taking steep increases every year. So when I purchased this bag was retailing, and I can't remember the exact amount, but it was somewhere between $5,000 and $6,000. I think it was 5,000 something. I can't exactly remember. And that is for the jumbo size here. If you go into a Chanel boutique now, this baby here retails for $9,500. So on one hand, I'm so glad I bought this bag when I did. One, because I could afford it then, and two, because of the increase in value and the increase in price of the bag. If I ever decided that it didn't make sense in my collection or whatever, I could absolutely resell this for close to the retail price. So like I said, $9,500 retail currently. I believe Chanel increases their prices in April. It's January. So if you're seriously thinking about this one, keep that in mind, especially if you want to buy it new from a boutique. And the other thing I will say is I looked up this bag, or at least similar versions. I didn't do an extensive search. I looked at the jumbo Chanel classic flat bag on the resale market. It looks like it holds its value really well. I saw that typically it holds its value at about 85%. And the price that I was seeing quite a few of them listed for were either in the high sevens or the low eights. Some were even at that $9,000 amount. And I imagine that's because also they come with everything that they were sold with, you know, the box, the authenticity card, dust bags, all of that. And then also it could be because of the color combinations, because like I said, not all of them are available to get. And Chanel had recently, I had read, they had started, you know, limiting the supply that they made as well. So you can't just necessarily say, oh, I like the caviar black leather and the silver hardware and go into the store and say, I want that in, you know, the jumbo size or whatever size you're looking at. You need to kind of see what they have on hand on inventory in the store and make your selection that way. Now, if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to take that chance and you're like, I am eyeing up this exact bag, I'm sorry, I'm not selling her. This one's staying with me, hopefully forever, and one day will be passed down to my daughter, or if she decides to have kids, grandchildren, maybe, I don't know, but this is one I do not plan on ever reselling. But if you are looking for something very specific, the pre-owned market's a great place to also look. I've bought a couple of my bags pre-owned, and honestly, I'd say the biggest things to be mindful of if you're looking at pre-owned bags is take a look at, you know, the reputation of the seller. Make sure that you feel like you can trust the seller, the individual, whoever it might be that you're looking to purchase this bag through. Check reviews on either the store or on the individual. Also, I would always recommend when you're spending this much money that it's authenticity guaranteed, so that you know you can get a full refund if for any reason you're questioning the authenticity of the bag. When you get the bag, I would, even if they authenticate it for you, I would actually personally go and get it re-authenticated by another business that would be able to do that, so that I felt really confident about it. But with any bag also that I've bought pre-owned or pre-loved, I also just do a little bit of research myself online. I look at if it's a bag that's highly copied. If so, just some of the trademarks, the weight of the hardware, the clasp and how that works, the interior, the stitching, the font, and exactly how the letters should look in the brand's name. Just all of the little details, so that I myself can feel more confident once I get that bag in my hands and feel like, this is exactly what I wanted. I spent my money on the real thing and I was not buying a copy, of the bag, which is personally super important to me. I don't purchase, fake bags or copied bags. So, and especially at the prices that they're charging for these bags, you don't want to spend that much money and then find out that it was just a copy, and you want to know that, it's authentic. So, do I recommend this bag? Absolutely. I love this bag. I think you can wear it all of the time for all occasions. I mean, yes, it is a Chanel bag. It's a nicer bag. I don't typically wear this to the grocery store, but I do wear it all of the time. Sometimes I wear it out shopping and running errands. Sometimes I wear it just to brunch or to dinner, or a play date for my daughter, and it just goes with my outfit because it goes with everything. Whether I'm wearing something that's a little edgier, it goes with that. If I'm wearing something a little bit more classic like I am today, it goes with that. So I just think she's a fantastic bag to invest in. I think it's a bag that will continue to hold its value and only increase in value through the years. I don't know what we'll see in the next couple coming years here, just because we've seen such steep price increases. Hopefully that'll level out for a little bit of time here at least, and then we might start seeing it increase more drastically again. But either way, I think it was worth every dollar that I paid for it. This bag is going to last me my entire life. And if you think about price per wear, it's definitely worth it. And it's also, it's a Chanel classic flat bag. For the retail price that it's going for today, I love the bag. I would recommend it still. I know that's a tough pill to swallow, the retail price. If I would only recommend it, of course, if this is a bag that you've been lusting over, that, is one of the holy grail bags for you, that, you just see it being in your collection for a long time. I don't know that I would recommend it. It is a great investment, but it's not the kind of bag that you want to flip. I'd be afraid if I got it for that purpose. I just want to keep it in my closet forever and be out the money anyway. So I do think it's still worth it for the price that it is today. Of course, I'm glad that I got it when it wasn't at such a price, but she gets a lot of use and she's absolutely stunning. So I hope you like this review today. If there was anything that I didn't capture, if you have any questions about the bag, if you're, just researching it and looking into buying it, and I could give you any more of my insight, I'd be more than happy to. So please comment down below and let me know. And other than that, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you later.